Oh, chat, wasn't there a CoffeeZilla video about Mr. Beast's crypto scam? Is this real? So for context, I saw a tweet that said Mr. Beast scammed like $25 million or something like that through like crypto. And I don't know, I almost find that hard to believe because I've never seen Mr. Beast promote a crypto or talk about crypto. I don't know, maybe he does some platform I've never heard of, but I'm just curious about this.
I investigated MrBeast, who was recently accused of making $23 million with insider trading and scams. I wanted to know the full story, so I reached out to everyone.
Didn't he get arrested? No, he didn't get arrested. He got arrested in, I think I know what you're talking about. I think MrBeast got arrested in like 2020 or something like that for speeding or some shit like that. I don't think it was anything anybody cares about.
Everyone, from researchers to crypto projects, even to MrBeast himself. And let me say, the story is more complicated than you think. I want to be clear. What MrBeast did, what his team did, is shady. But what we care about is, did he cross that bright red line from shady to illegal scam? And contrary to what Twitter says, I don't think that's an easy answer. Instead, I think the answer will depend on you. If you love MrBeast, there will be an explanation at every turn and a scapegoat. But if you hate MrBeast, what I'm about to show you will seem unethical and like a clear abuse of fame for money. So already this story is difficult, but I want to make you aware of two more things which matter. First, I have gone to MrBeast's team to try to fact check this story extensively, and they declined to fact check or comment on my many questions. Instead, they gave me a statement which we will get to. Secondly, I have a bit of history with MrBeast. I interviewed and spoke positively about him in the past, but also his new co-founder is suing me, and his other co-founder threatened to sue me. So you can make of that what you will. As always, I just want to let you know where I'm coming from, and I've tried to get all sides of the story. We're going to start with the major allegations against MrBeast and build on those. They come from two sources. Firstly, an investigation by Soma XBT, which claims MrBeast made $10 million by backing low-cap crypto tokens, which are down 90%. And the second investigation comes from a group of 5 people who investigated MrBeast and found $23 million in profits from, quote, scams, shady deals, and his network. Now, there are a lot of crypto projects they go over, and I want to be clear. Some of these allegations, I agree, are bad.
Sorry, what are y'all talking about? Add text to speech. What do you mean add text? Do you mean add captions? I'm not going to add captions. I hate captions. Wait. Really?
Others I think are actually worse than have been reported, and still other allegations I simply disagree with them on. So we're going to start with what I don't agree with. According to the report, Polychain Monsters, or PMON, is a project which KSI promoted heavily. MrBeast did not. But MrBeast did get in the pre-sale and make a lot of money. And thus, the conclusion is made, it's highly likely MrBeast made an investment from
oh shit, that's kind of crazy.
That insider information of KSI's promotional deal. But there's simply no evidence provided of this. I have the same thoughts about JigStack, another coin which KSI promoted, and the conclusion is, though MrBeast did not officially follow JigStack, in his network, KSI was involved in promoting JigStack. From this information, MrBeast invested and made a large return. Here again, there isn't concrete proof. Now, I asked the team who wrote this piece, and the lead author, Casper Vandeluk, told me, quote, having known MrBeast's having a very strong connection with KSI, it's basically highly probable he was vested as a result of KSI. No concrete evidence, just going off probabilities. But I'm gonna say...
Damn, that's actually really crazy. So you think KSI told MrBeast, all right, I'm gonna go on my Twitter. If y'all don't know, KSI has a crypto Twitter. So he has like his main Twitter and then his like crypto Twitter, right? You think he like tells MrBeast and he's like, hey, I'm gonna make a tweet about this coin. Buy it real quick. And then MrBeast buys it and then he tweets it out. And then like a day later they sell it. That's kind of crazy, honestly.
I don't agree with that, and I'm going to toss those probabilities aside. I think they reach too far. Instead, I'm going to stick with what we can prove happened. Luckily, the biggest claims in this report, the biggest money makers, are much better supported by evidence. Starting with Super. This is the project MrBeast is alleged to have made the most amount of money on, over $10 million based on a pre-sale of $100,000. As for evidence, we have leaked screenshots showing MrBeast telling Super's founder that he can do 100K. Then we have a wallet that both investigations trace to MrBeast, sending 100K to the pre-sale wallet. And then we have the same wallets getting millions of these Super tokens in a period of unlocks, which were almost all sold aggressively. Now, why is this bad? Well, MrBeast is obviously hugely influential, and he publicly associated himself with the project twice. Once on March 3rd, 2021, he responded to a tweet with eyeball emojis. And then he interacted a second time on May 12th, 2021. This is much worse. The founder, Leo Trades, had tweeted, "There's a gym sitting there on the..."
Okay, this is some real shit. The only reason you should ever put money in crypto is if you can sell it to a bigger dumbass. That's real. That's real. Because crypto is nothing. It does nothing. It adds nothing. It creates nothing. It makes nothing. It's some random thing, right? So that's really the only reason you should do it. So if you're a big account and you have a lot of followers, and then you reply to some crypto guy, and you're like, oh shit, this is kind of crazy. You know damn well people are going to buy it, bro. And then you're like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to sell on these people. I'm going to dump the bag.
On the market at eye-watering prices, set to explode during the DeFi Summer 2.0. MrBeast's response, Super? But what he doesn't say is that he'd already purchased a huge stake in Super at this point, and on the day that he's tweeting, he was selling tokens, allegedly. Not only that, he had been selling tokens and continued to sell tokens. In the 72 hours after the May 12th tweet, MrBeast sold about $200,000 worth of these tokens. And remember the context. He's responding to the founder of the coin discussing a gym at eye-watering prices that's going to explode during the summer. And MrBeast's response is the coin he's selling. So publicly, it's signaling, hey, Super is this undervalued coin, and privately, MrBeast allegedly sold. Now, I ran these wallets by MrBeast, as well as the accusation, but I didn't get a reply. Instead, I got a heavily lawyered statement from a spokesman, who I'm going to warn you is about to complicate things. Quote, "These investments were made and managed in consultation with industry experts to ensure full compliance with all appropriate rules and regulations. The wallet is not owned or managed by Jimmy, but rather a fund led by respected and sophisticated managers. The fund closely evaluated and scrutinized hundreds and hundreds of opportunities, which resulted in several investments. Some have been more successful, others less, and others still works in progress. The fund's investment strategies apply the same rigorous standards as many other experienced investors in the field."
I have a hard time, this is like a heavily lawyered statement. So it's kind of hard to like read through stuff, but I have a hard time that a well-respected and sophisticated manager would tell you to buy a random crypto coin. Like that just would not, I just can't imagine that happening. That just sounds fake. Because like it's nothing. I mean, it's nothing. You're not buying into anything. Like, when you're buying a stock, you're buying into a company. You know what the company does. You can look at like earnings reports. You know what the company sells. You can look at like literally everything they do. But when you're buying a crypto, it's just some random thing.
Now,
like there's no way.
But the big thing is Jimmy denies doing any of the trading or managing the trading and blames it on a fund. So I asked some obvious follow-up questions. What is the name of this fund? Who are the industry experts? And what rules and regulations were followed that allowed you to tweet about a coin while your fund is selling? I didn't get a response. It's worth mentioning the spokesman is Matthew Hiltzik, a well-known crisis management consultant. Thankfully, online, there still are a number of clues we can follow to try to find the right person for this fund. The reason most people link MrBeast to this wallet we've been tracking is mostly based on a tweet by MrBeast saying he bought a specific crypto punk, which belonged to an account which goes by Wu-Tang Clan. People assumed, understandably, that this was MrBeast's wallet. But what is lesser known is that another account has also tweeted about CryptoPunks and has the same ties back to Wu-Tang Clan. A guy named Jason Williams. He's followed by MrBeast on Twitter, and he's the author of a book on Bitcoin, so he's a crypto guy. And I found Jason tweeting about another CryptoPunk saying, I hope you enjoy your new home, sold for 100 ETH. That sale he's talking about links back to the same address MrBeast does, Wu-Tang Clan. On YouTube, there's even more clues. Jason can be seen surfing wearing a Wu-Tang Clan shirt, and his brand name, Going Parabolic, happens to be owned by the same MrBeast wallet, goingparabolic.eth. So there's very good evidence that Jason Williams was also involved in this same wallet, which means that it might be true that MrBeast wasn't the guy buying or selling, which would be good for MrBeast and bad for these investigations. But just when I thought MrBeast might have no say in what this wallet did, I saw this podcast with Logan Paul, where Jimmy discusses CryptoPunks once again, and things get complicated.
So me and Logan both
This is the
bought
Gary V
punks.
thing,
You
right?
guys have probably seen on his Twitter that he bought a bunch of CryptoPunks at the same time, right?
Yep.
Gary pulled us in that call.
That's right.
Yep.
So have you ever told that story?
No.
Gary V, it's like 11 p.m. just out of nowhere, just calls me and he's like, yo, I got like 30 people to call, hop in. I'm like, I don't care. He's like, it'll be the best decision of your life. Just get in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I just joined the call. And I just see like Logan and I don't even know these other people. I don't want to put them on blast.
Every heavy hitter you can imagine who's worth $1 billion was on this one call, and Gary V is in the little corner, the little square. He's going, CryptoPunks. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be the next Facebook. Where all of us were like, okay,
Everyone's
Gary.
judging. I'm texting Logan.
He's
I'm like, Gary
is
lost
this
his
legit?
mind.
Bro, all of us were like, yo, Gary's nuts. Yo, Gary was right again.
I think you would beat Mike Tyson. I do too. Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Bought a bunch.
Wait.
Yeah, I bought quite a few.
How many?
I don't want to say, but
You have to
I,
say,
no,
bro,
please.
you have
I
to.
bought multiple ones. Yeah.
Well, bro, are you in double digits, punks?
Double, just shy.
Huh. Well, this clip is very interesting
Like
because
7,
Jimmy
8,
said
9.
he made the decision to get CryptoPunks based on a call with Gary V. But those punks are owned by the wallet we just said was controlled by Jason. So it appears sometimes MrBeast is telling Jason what to buy for this fund. MrBeast then later talks about selling these CryptoPunks and rolling the money into a new project. And once again, it sounds like he's in charge.
Well, I've already sold quite a few of them, so I don't.
What?
The
Dude, he's
bids
on to
are
the next
expensive.
thing.
I bought a bunch of, so that I rolled the money into V-Friends because Gary, same thing, called me. He's like, V-Friends. I was like, I don't know, but last time I made money, sure.
I'll be honest, these clips to me make it difficult to assume MrBeast had no idea what's going on. He talks about CryptoPunks and V-Friends like personal investments. And on Twitter, he says that not only he bought CryptoPunks, he also tweets about loading up on V-Friends.
The
But
only
again,
reason,
I have to say,
the only reason you would tweet something like this for literally your whole audience to see is so that your audience can look into it and also buy it, and so your bags can go up.
he also tweets about loading up on V-Friends.
That's the
But
only
again,
reason.
I have to say, it is also abundantly clear Jason Williams was involved. He says, hey Gary, thanks for the V-Friends gift code. It was a gift from Gary to MrBeast. I'm very thankful for it. He didn't have to send anything. So once again, Jason Williams appears to be involved and have something to do with the trading or management of MrBeast's crypto wallet, but we know MrBeast made some of the decisions. So of course, I asked MrBeast to explain himself if he had any say over the trading, but once again, there's no response. So now I want to turn back to Super. We know from leaked DMs that MrBeast and not Jason
Lachlan
set up this pre-sale, and we know that MrBeast made the tweet. So now we have to guess. Here's what we know. We know MrBeast set up the pre-sale according to leaked screenshots. We know MrBeast made the tweet, but we don't know whether it was Jason doing the trading of Super, or if he was doing the trading, did MrBeast know about it? Did Jason know about the tweet? These are the questions that ultimately matter. And yes, I reached out to Jason Williams for a comment. He didn't reply. I did, however, get a hold of Elio Trades, who is the founder of Super, and he insisted that MrBeast's tweet was not a part of a deal for promotion. But you should know, he also mentions how upset he was with how pre-sale investors sold their tokens, saying most of them sold, including MrBeast. So those are the facts. MrBeast gets involved in a pre-sale, for some reason tweets at this project twice, one time on the day his fund is selling tokens, where he seems to imply that they're undervalued. In total, he's alleged to have made $11 million with this deal,
That's
according
insane.
to the report.
God.
So
I
yeah,
wish.
That's really
Fuck.
bad. Now
Give
we're
me
gonna
that,
jump to
Mr.
another
Beast.
allegation, which is about Earn or
I'll buy some of your
Ethernity.
chocolate.
There are some facts which are the same. There are others that are different. For example, instead of Mr. Beast setting up the deal directly, the team at Earn claims they never spoke to Mr. Beast. Quote, "We were speaking to his fund manager. And when I asked about these wallets selling allegedly over $4 million in tokens, they say, quote, Mr. Beast's fund was an early investor in our pre-sale. He had the same
Rocket
unlock
fund.
schedule as everyone else. Were we happy with the way he sold? Definitely not. But legally, there was nothing we could have done. And then, just like with Super, they claim they didn't ask for a promotion of the project, but that Mr. Beast decided to comment once himself anyways. On March 9th, 2021, Mr. Beast responds to Ethernity Chain saying,
Wow, I didn't know
"This
he
one
like
will be
tweeted
hype."
like this.
It's worth
Crazy.
noting, once again, about
I didn't know
24
he
hours
tweeted like
before
that.
saying this,
Jesus.
this fund wallet purchased over $100,000 of Earn tokens in addition to the pre-sale.
That's kind of crazy.
Now, what is different about Super is that Mr. Beast's name was put publicly on the Ethernity Chain website. On their investors and partners page, you might be asking, well, which is it? Is he an investor or a partner? And the answer
He got
is
caught.
both. He got into the pre-sale, and the Earn team also claims that he partnered with them for an NFT drop. Supposedly, it was a charity drop and a normal NFT drop. Now, the charity drop specifically did happen in association with one of Mr. Beast's projects, Team C's, saying, quote, all proceeds will go towards cleaning up the seas around the world. This was early November 2021. Then the official Team C's account posts it on November 3rd, 2021. Quote, what an awesome crypto collaboration in support of the team. Then the CEO of Ethernity Chain, Nick Rose, confirms in Telegram that the drop is supported by Mr. Beast, saying Earn and ETH tokens will be accepted for the charity auction, which was slated to last 2 months. Now, the reason I'm sharing all of this is because 1 month into this 2-month charity auction on November 30th, 2021, the Rocket Fund or Beast Fund or whatever you want to call it starts selling huge amounts of this Earn token. Allegedly, they sold
out of there.
over
Dump
$2
the
million,
bag.
while the charity itself was still going on. Now, I know that sounds horrible. It looks horrible. It is horrible. Although I have to tell you, personally, I don't think this was a master plan to pump a coin with a charity auction. If it was the plan, it was a bad one because the NFT auction was ultimately a flop. But do I also think it doesn't matter because regardless of your intentions, selling tokens within a month of your 2-month charity auction is wrong, stupid, and unethical? Yes, I think that as well. Because in case you forgot, Mr. Beast is the charity guy whose name is on the website. It isn't a fund. It isn't a crypto rocket fund. It's Mr. Beast's branding. I even asked the Earn team about this, saying, quote, why did y'all list Mr. Beast instead of Rocket Fund in your partners' investors? Was that discussed? They say, quote, we listed him, Mr. Beast, as a partner, and quote, yes, they accepted that. So
That's
according to the Earn team, Mr. Beast knew or should have known that his name was on the line for this investment and partnership. And yet, this fund, his fund, whatever you want to call it, sold tokens 1 month after starting a 2-month NFT auction for charity. To be fair again, though, it's hard to oversell how bad this NFT auction did. I have found only one NFT that appears to have sold here, but the bids were made in the Earn token, which the fund was selling, and the actual sale of the NFT didn't happen until after the fund sold in November 30th. The transfer happened in December 23rd. So of course, I went to Mr. Beast directly to answer this and see if there was some more context they could provide. There was no response other than the statement we've already read from Mr. Beast that he did not control the trading. Although again, that isn't a really satisfying answer because we've established Mr. Beast would sometimes direct what to buy and sell to this fund, like CryptoPunks. Personally, like I said, I don't think this was a pre-planned scheme, but regardless of intentions, if you're the charity guy, you support a charity, it flops while your fund makes millions of dollars in profits because it's selling the same Earn token people could bid on the charity with, that just is awful. And you should feel awful about it. Look, now I want to move on from that to talking about our final token, XCAD. This is a token you may remember from our investigation into MrBeast's business partner,
yeah. I was like, I feel like I've heard of this before.
MrBeast was not promoting it a lot on Twitter. In fact, the only reason
KSI
we know
did.
MrBeast was in the presale is that there were several articles about it bragging about that fact. Once again, MrBeast's name was used to promote this instead of the fund itself. And internally to investors, I have to say, this built up a lot of excitement, not just because MrBeast is a huge name, but because XCAD had what's called creator tokens. So the idea to some investors is that, well, if they're investing MrBeast and KSI, what if they were ever to launch creator tokens? That would be massive. And I bring this up because some people might ask, like, what do these affiliations, how do they impact people buying these projects? And the answer from what I've seen is they actually do impact it quite a lot, because people are anticipating like further involvement. And also the idea is like, they must not be investing unless they're long-term holders. You can see this in the Telegram chat. It became so common that in the XCAD community, one of the admins says, here we go again, another community member asking if there's any possibility of a MrBeast KSI token. And meanwhile, by the way, as that's happening, as the investors are hoping for these creator tokens and that they're imminent, behind the scenes, something entirely different had been happening. Like with Super and Earn, MrBeast's fund sold a lot of their XCAD early in 2021, rather than holding their tokens. And this was surprising to even the founder of XCAD himself, Oliver Bell, who said they told him they were gonna do the opposite. He tells me, quote, "Hey, so MrBeast reached out to me during our pre-sale raise. A group was set up with his team, and we had a call with his team, and they said they liked the concept. There was no strings attached to the investment. They did, however, want a lot bigger ticket than what I offered them, which I'm glad
this
I
guy.
did not fulfill. We discussed not just flipping this token, as this can damage projects if people have decent sized tickets. It was my understanding we were aligned on this. However, after listing to which XCAD performed well, there was heavy dumping from a wallet linked to MrBeast's team. I got in contact with them immediately and asked them why they were selling like this." Now, Oliver later claims this discussion about flipping tokens and them being aligned about the fact they're not going to flip these tokens so quickly was with Jason. And apparently, Oliver was so upset about what happened, he DM'd Jimmy directly, quote, explaining his team will ruin his reputation. And look, sorry to be a broken record, but yes, I reached out to Jimmy about this too. And once again, there was no reply besides the statement we read earlier. It's worth mentioning that I asked Oliver for proof of this message about ruining relationships, and he said the message had been deleted on Telegram. So who you believe here is up to you. Oliver also says, quote, "I don't think Jimmy has a bad heart or is a bad person. I think he has genuine interest in the crypto space, but I think the team that handles his crypto is completely clueless." And here on this last point, I have to disagree with Oliver. I don't think that Jimmy's crypto team is clueless. I think they saw an opportunity to make millions of dollars with MrBeast's valuable brand, and they took it, and they did make millions of dollars. And along the way, they did some things that were shady. Whether or not you think they were also illegal is probably going to be shaped by our unanswered questions and where you fill in those gaps. For example, do you think MrBeast knew about the selling that was going on May 12th for the Super token? Why did he make that tweet? And then, do you think MrBeast knew about the charity auction and the selling that was happening on November 30th? And do you think Oliver Bell DM'd MrBeast and told him his crypto team?
I don't understand this. Nobody on his team would do anything if he didn't tell them to do it, or if he didn't like give the okay. Like if you give somebody who's what did he say at the beginning of this video? Somebody who's a well-respected fund manager. If you give them like $1 million, like, all right, manage this for me. They literally have to get your approval for everything.
Ruin his reputation, and if so, was that ignored? I hate to leave so many unanswered questions here, but I warned you, this was a complicated story, and a big part of the problem is the guy at the center of this story cannot or will not give more than a heavily lawyered statement through a spokesman who's a crisis management consultant. And let me just say, it's also frustrating that this statement takes zero accountability. Despite the fact MrBeast's team knew every major allegation that we're laying out here today, there is no mention of selling while MrBeast was tweeting about Super Token. There's no mention of them selling tokens a month after they partnered with a 2-month charity auction. And because of that, this statement feels very hollow. I think to MrBeast and probably to his fund, maybe this is just business, you know? They set out to make a lot of money, and they made a lot of money. What's the problem, right? This is America. They might think this is the biggest MrBeast nothing burger since MrBeast Burger. But look, honestly, I'd agree with them if they had done this crypto stuff without using MrBeast's name. But they want to have their cake and eat it too. This fund trades on MrBeast's name, as we've seen. They get in pre-sales based on his name. He tweets from his public account, and they're putting his name publicly on projects' websites instead of a fund. But when things go south, suddenly, oh, MrBeast, what? No, no liability, just because he's not sitting there physically pressing the buttons. I don't think that's the way it works. Look, I want to close with the final part of this CryptoPunks podcast we showed you earlier, because in many ways, I think it's a microcosm of this story. Obviously, I have to say, I'm not making any comments or judgments about the guy who's suing me, who's also in this clip. That's just coincidence. I am only talking about MrBeast's reaction, because as MrBeast is talking about Gary V's great CryptoPunks call, there's a moment when the co-host says, hey, maybe instead of Gary V being a genius, maybe it's just the call itself that makes the market. And MrBeast kind of defends it. He says, no, that was in February. You know, CryptoPunks didn't pop until the summer. And, you know, I never talked about CryptoPunks until this very moment.
Can I ask you guys a question? When Gary does that call with all these billionaires and 8 months or a year later, everybody's like, Gary was right again.
Yeah.
Is it possible that he's right because of the call? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think about that a lot.
Dude, he has all these
I think about
billionaire
that a
market
lot.
makers in the thing.
think about
He
that a
makes
lot.
the call, makes the market. By the way, you look around at all the punk owners a year later and you're like, damn, it's all the same motherfuckers that were on the call.
No, because bro, there's 10,000 punks, and there's only like 30 of us in the call. We can only own and do so much. There's still an entire market that's gonna happen regardless.
I can tell you, I don't think what, because that was all back like early February. Like
Right.
things didn't pop off till later, and every like NFT project was popping off, not just punks.
I mean, make no mistake, like having such influential people involved in projects, it can't hurt the ability for the project to
but like,
work. You know what I'm saying?
95% of those people didn't even mention it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
I've
right.
never talked about it publicly.
Yeah, but that last part isn't quite true. The reason we're all here is MrBeast tweeted about CryptoPunks the same day he bought them back in February of 2021. That's how we found his wallet, even though we now know someone else was involved too. And I would apply the same level of scrutiny to many of the investments we've talked about. Was it the genius of Jason Williams, MrBeast, or this fund that made them tens of millions of dollars? Maybe. Or was it the fact that the name they brought to the table was MrBeast, one of the most influential and valuable brands in the world? And that's what got them the great deals. That's what got them a bunch of eyeballs. That's what made it so valuable to have his name on these websites. And maybe that's what made the market. Ultimately, I think it's for you to decide.
No. He can't. No, somebody said, I feel like CoffeeZilla is probably going to get sued again this time on MrBeast. You can. I mean, you can sue anybody for anything, right? But it's not going to hold up in court because, I mean, literally CoffeeZilla is just talking about, like, public information that's just out there. And he's just putting it all together in a video. Like, what is it? Like, MrBeast can't sue him for defamation. Like, what do you mean, defamation? This is all, like, actually stuff that you did. And it's like, and it's also an opinion piece. Like he's saying multiple times, like in this video, it could be construed that he did this, or it could be construed that he didn't do this. And literally at the beginning of this video, he was like, if you love MrBeast, you'll find a reason to say that everything that he's done is fine. If you hate him, you're going to think everything that he did was bad. What about when Logan sued him? Yeah, I mean, you can sue anyone for anything, but it doesn't mean it's going to hold up in court and anything's going to happen as a result of it. Like somebody can sue me right now for anything. But I mean, you know what I mean? Okay. Wow, that's a long outro. What is this outro? Are these like patrons on Patreon? Must be supported by. Okay. That was kind of crazy. That was kind of crazy. Also, here's another thing. When people like Logan Paul say, oh, I'm going to sue you, CoffeeZilla, maybe, I just thought of this. I don't know how crazy this is. But like, if somebody like Logan Paul is like, I'm going to sue you, CoffeeZilla, because you made a video about me. A lot of people, I feel like, don't know how the legal system works. And they'll be like, oh, okay, Logan Paul is suing CoffeeZilla. That must mean Logan's innocent, and CoffeeZilla's just clearly has a vendetta. He absolutely hates Logan Paul, and he's just making shit up, right? But, you know, obviously that's not true. So I wonder if Logan Paul or some people, they'll like deliberately sue someone even though they don't really have a case just to make it look good in like the eye of the public, right? I don't know. But okay, that was cool. All right, let's play something.